G'day guys, Ev here again from Unsealed 4x4, and we've got yet another lighting scoop for you today. It seems like the lighting industry is going absolutely nuts in Australia right now, and what we have today is the brand new HTX2 from Lightforce. Now, we actually had one of the first sets of the original HTX back in 2016, and this is actually off my car. So they've been on my patrol for 3 years, and you would not know it. Look, the logo's still good. The tops are faded just a little bit, but honestly, they're holding up so well. You can see how dirty they are. They've been through hell. So they're a good thing. I really like them, having the versatility of 20 LEDs around the outside and the HIDs in the middle for distance, a really versatile light. But Lightforce tells us that the HTX2 is even better. So instead of focusing on, just going maximum distance, they redesigned the light to be a better performer for illumination all round. So we're talking spread, we're talking the color temperature, we're talking the quality of the components. So they've taken a good thing, and Lightforce tells us they've made it even better. So what we want to do today is just run through what you get in the box, because we're going to wire these up, we're going to put them on a car and actually really test them. We've got a couple of big things coming up. So first of all, let's see what you can option up. So you've got your anti-theft nuts there, good to see. We've got the Lume, I'll go through that in a second. Oop, dropping covers everywhere. So these are, I guess a combo cover, you'd call them, a filter. So they're always a good thing. They do sometimes rob a little bit of light, but they protect the light as well, and that's going to give you a little bit more spread with that diffused pattern in the middle. So we'll get those out of the way. Chuck them down and let's have a look at the Lume. Now, I think this is going to be basically the same as the previous Lume, which was a bit of a monster. So we've got some switches there, there's two, so one's to control the LEDs and one's to control the HID function. We've got nice waterproof Deutsch connectors, as you'd expect. We've got really decent quality wiring running to the fuse, which I will not open this time around, but it's good to see that it is fused with a quality fuse holder, because that can go wrong. I've seen some cheap looms and that usually burns out there and it's not good. We've got twin relays, which again, you're running basically two lights off one light, so that's good to see. Looks fairly plug and play. You've got some spade connectors there. So it's good quality. You've got convoluted tubing all over it, so it's going to be protected. Now, if you're buying these lights, get the Lume. Don't bother mucking around with another Lume. It's made for these lights. It's going to save you time and money, so good to see. The exciting part, get that out of the way. Now let's see what difference, or what you get in the box, and what the difference between the HTX, the original one, and the HTX2 is. Now look, speaking of numbers, everyone's throwing numbers out these days of pure output and the distance and how many lux at how many meters. So this light's doing 1650, 1.6 kilometers at 1 lux, meaning, as we've talked about before, you could have this light on and be sitting 1.6 kilometers away and be able to read a newspaper, basically. That's how bright these things are. So what have we got? Stickers, always good to see. Put that on the fridge. Your warranty, always important. Now, it's also important to notice that this is an Australian product, made in Australia, as all Lightforce lights are, which is awesome to hear. We love supporting Aussie ingenuity and companies like that. So we've got some instructions, how to mount them up, how to wire them, handy. Now let's see how it's packaged. Comes in this form pressed foam fitting, I guess you'd call it. So that's not going to go anywhere. We've got the tails for the Deutsch connector, so you can get your Sparky to wire that up, or if you're handy on the tools, you can wire it up yourself. And it's a job I'd recommend. Like, have a crack at wiring up spotlights. If you get it wrong, you're really probably not going to hurt anything. And at least you're learning how these things operate. They're really easy. There's a lot of videos online these days. You can find out how to wire spotlights yourself, and I recommend giving it a crack. Now, this thing is really well packaged. I can't even get it out. You know that's going to ship well if you can barely get the light out. Alright, so here's the box. Let's take a look at the light. I just love chucking stuff. Okay, it looks different. So straight up, it's got a clip-on cover, whereas the original HTX did not. Still a polycarbonate lens, so unbreakable. But that's very different design to the original. You can see that it's much slimmer. It's got more of a concave here, I suppose, so that's going to fit around a bull bar much easier. So that's a clever redesign there. What else am I noticing? So the original had a tail coming out of the light. HTX2 just has a space for you to clip in your Deutsch connector, so I don't have any problems with that. We've got a breather here and a breather on this one as well, so still very good to see. Now Lightforce tells us that they've improved the cooling, and you can see these fins here, because obviously with this much output it's going to produce heat. HIDs, they produce heat as well, and LEDs do to a lesser degree. So having the cooling fins, very clever idea. Much different design in terms of the cooling, so that's cool. The mounting bracket looks very similar. I think it's actually the same, and that's actually got a captive facility in there to trap that bolt when you're tightening it up. So that's very handy, so it doesn't want to spin around and you don't need to get another spanner on there. Now obviously you can use the anti-theft nuts we've mentioned before, and I'd recommend them. Hey, look, if someone wants your lights, they'll probably get them, but it is a deterrent, and I'd recommend them for the money, because you got to protect your investment, don't you? And speaking of investment, the best part, we were sort of guessing about what we think these would be costing you. They retail for $7.99 a light. Now that's actually better than I thought, because you have to remember, this is a high-end product. This isn't just a generic LED driving light. This is a high-end product designed for those who really need it. So truck drivers, outback tourers, things like that. If you need a good quality light, you're going to have to pay for it. So under 800 bucks, I reckon that is good value, to be honest. So what else are we noticing? We've still got the HID in the middle. We've still got 20 LEDs, but these have all been juiced up to, again, provide better illumination. You know, you don't just want straight out output. Well, you do. It's a good thing to have. But you want to illuminate the sides as well. So this beam pattern's been enhanced, apparently. We haven't tested it yet, to improve that when you are off-road or on-road. Now what else? Well, let's look through some specs. So we know it's Australian made, we know it's been redesigned, it's all new basically. We know they cost $7.99 per light. We know they're Australian made, which is, hey, awesome. So you've got dual switching harness, we've been through that. Which is an accessory, so it's not included. You've got the anti-theft security kit. You've also got filters and replacement 5K HID bulb. So that's the color temperature 5K, which should be a nice white light. So there's some of the accessories you can get. Inside, you get the instructions, mounting brackets, a clear spot filter with the Lightforce logo is included, and you also get the driving light harness adapter. So that's pretty inclusive. Now what else have we got here? So we've already been through that. It's going 1656 meters to be exact at 1 lux. It's got a 5000K, or 5000K color temperature, sorry. Waterproof to IP68 and 69. So this thing is not going to let any water or any dust in. That's basically as good as it gets. And again, I'm going to mention again, made in Australia. But we'll get rid of that. So basically, after 3 years of use, I'm very impressed with this. And there are a lot of good lights on the market. I've been using a lot of them. But I really like this. It's not just the novelty of having them being switchable, going from HID to LED. It's just the versatility. It actually is a genuine good idea that I really appreciate for my style of driving. So they've held up well for 3 years. Now here's hoping the HTX2 is going to do the same, if not better.